Amber's gonna come give us the sample space. I don't have it yet. Okay. I'm a failure, Megan. I'm sorry.
I've never got.
Hey, Colton.
Yeah.
Maggie, get off your phone. Put your mask on.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, get off your phone, Colton. No, I don't have any more.
Yes, you do. Liar.
No, I don't.
These are good.
I can't
They're
even
the
see 'em
best.
right now.
Actually brilliant. Like the math is actually math.
I mean, actually,
Eat them all. Just shove them all in the mouth. 1, 2, 3, go.
I'll give David some because I'm a nice person.
And not giving Ty any is also a nice person.
I don't need it. No, I'm not kidding.
Yeah, he already had that giant, nasty milkshakey
It's
thing.
not even a milkshake.
What was it?
Freeze. A blue
Thank you.
raspberry
Must go write that over here.
milkshake.
No, there's no space over
Why do you
there.
say it like that?
Thank you. All right, Colton's gonna come do the next one for us.
What? Colton actually did it?
Boy, girl.
He worked with Dia and Allie.
No, I did it by myself. Right?
Touch me in the belly.
As long as you guys can win a game.
Oh.
We actually did win one, so. I get it.
Oh, that's bad.
Yell at Davis too. He's on the team, not just me.
We know. We just have fun picking on you more. Because you react to it. Davis just kind of stays quiet.
It's not even my fault, honestly.
All right, Dia, Allie, I can't remember who was doing the table and who was answering questions, but thank you.
Come on, we got it. Mine's coming soon. Let's do it. It's on a timetable, okay?
You see this?
Colton,
Okay.
just stop.
What?
Oh gosh. Get him, Miss Whittle. Get him, Miss
Your
Whittle.
hair grew a lot, right? Did it grow a lot?
No, it's just flat.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm waiting until I cut the hole again.
Ugh.
Agreed.
Me too.
Miss Will, how are you gonna feel when 30 kids in your class have them all? And Trey, 4.
Ugh.
She's not going back. It's actually a short one.
I'll just
Trey,
pick
call
on
her off.
all
Yeah,
of
he
you.
did. It looks really weird. He walked in the gym and I was like,
Wait, Trey got a mullet?
No,
No.
you got buzz cut.
nah, it's not supposed to buzz. It looks like a buzz cut. How much you had?
It's like freshman.
All right.
It was like freshman Trey.
No. Freshman tried long hair.
3 children.
She tried the little.
Sample space. Amber listed all the possibilities. You could have 3 girls, a boy, 2 girls, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, all boys, girl, 2 boys, girl. 8 possible outcomes. Then I told you to let X equal the number of boys. You could have 0 boys, 1 boy, 2 boys, or 3 boys. Then you fill in the table, so 0, 1, 2, or 3 for the number of boys. Out of these 8 possibilities, only one of them has 0 boys. That's why we got 1/8. Then there's 3 ways to have 1 boy. You could have a boy and 2 girls and then a boy, or girl, boy, girl, which is why the probability of 1 is 3/8. Then you have 2 boys, boy, boy, girl, boy, boy, or boy, boy, girl. Again, 3 ways out of 8. And then 3 boys, there's only 1 way out of 8. So what is the probability of having exactly 2 boys? That's these 3 ways, 3/8, or if you did decimals, 0.375. at least one boy. That means you could have one boy, two boys, or three boys. So Allie took 3/8 plus 3/8 plus 1/8, which is 7/8, or 0.875, I think. I don't know if I did that decimal right.
You did.
Don't listen to him.
I never do.
He ripped up my cup.
I know. All right, so unfortunately, I have not made a printout of the unit overview. I'm sorry, somehow I forgot to make the copies this morning.
Hey, it's totally okay. We
Thank
forgive
you. Today we're going to talk about random variables. There are two types that we focus on in this unit, discrete and continuous. Today and tomorrow we'll focus mainly on discrete random variables, and then we'll move on to continuous, and then we'll move on to binomial and geometric, and there's a third one. I don't know. Can't remember. Binomial, geometric.
Is it a no meal?
No.
Graphics.
How do they
No.
get this together?
Dude, I actually asked the same
Because you're
question.
too loud. Like,
We're not
Say
even
that
doing
again?
anything. We're paying attention.
No, it might be that there's the discrete
Yeah,
and
that's smart.
continuous, binomial, and geometric. That might be where I'm thinking three. Because discrete and continuous, we have different, there's lots of different formulas this unit. All right, so
Yeah, we don't.
random variables,
Random peeps.
that too. A variable that takes numerical values that describes the outcomes of some chance process is called a random variable.
Freaking, oh my gosh, it's so hot in here. It's actually not.
A table that summarizes the possible values and their probabilities is called a probability distribution. And we already did a probability distribution. Dia came up and did it on the warm-up. We have a table that took all the possible values for the number of boys and 3 kids and gave the appropriate probabilities. So this was our first probability distribution right there. In a probability distribution, each probability should be between what two numbers? Probabilities should live between 0 and 1.
Boom.
The sum of all the probabilities should be equal to 1. And if those things are true, we say the distribution is legitimate. Legitimate. I think that's how you spell legitimate. I don't know. I should
This
just
isn't
put
English.
legit, because I know how to spell that one. A random variable that has a countable number of outcomes with gaps is called a discrete random variable. And the warm-up number of kids or boys that you have, that's an example of a discrete random variable.
Wait, what does it mean, outcomes with gaps?
I'm going to explain that in just a second. A random variable that has an infinite number of outcomes with no gaps is called a continuous random variable. And an example there would be height. So the big difference is gaps, no gaps. Gaps means, like for the number of boys, we could have 0 boys, 1 boy, 2 boy, 3 boys. I can't have 1 1/2. I can't have 1 1/4. I have gaps between the values for my outcomes. Height, on the other hand, is something without gaps. Somebody can be 5 foot 10 inches. Somebody can be 5 foot 10.5 inches, 5 foot 10.25 inches. We could keep getting more precise with height, so that's something that has no gaps. Where the number of people, boys, has gaps. You can't have parts of people. Questions? So like I said, today and tomorrow we're going to focus on discrete random variables. But before we get too much into that, I got to get you guys back into reminding yourself how to find mean and standard deviation.
Oh, thank you.
Now, I did say no calculators, but I'm going to change that. Let's use our calculators.
Ty, will you be so awesome to throw this away?
It's your car.
Ty Jeffrey Carpenter.
Oh, dang it. That's my brother.
Jefferson.
Trey Jeffrey or Jet Jeffrey?
Jet.
Jet Jeffrey. What's your mom's name?
Janelle.
What's her maiden name?
Breedlove.
What?
Breedlove.
Breedlove.
Yeah.
Ty Breedlove Carpenter.
Absolutely no.
Is that Paige's middle name? Is she Paige Janelle?
No. Hers is Paige Marie.
I should have known
And my
that.
mom.
Marie's the most common.
My mom's Marie.
Why do guys feel like they have to give when they're boys that like their first name is their middle name, but women don't do that?
So my dad did with all 3.
Don't you all three
We all 3
have
had
the
the same.
same? Yeah.
But women don't do that.
My sister has my mom's first name.
Really?
Yeah.
I have not. It's very unusual
Wait,
that
what is
women do that.
your kid's middle name?
Well, Lucas's middle name is Lucas.
What the?
Lucas
Joke?
Lucas Little?
No.
Lucas Little.
His first name is not Lucas.
Oh, what
He
is it?
goes by Lucas. You can ask him. I don't know if he wants people to know.
Just say it. It's his...
Is it like Hank being Harold?
Yeah.
No, but my youngest is Hank. He's a Henry,
Yeah, there's a Henry, which is a Hank, but there's a Harold, which is a...
which is a Harry,
His
which
name's
is a...
Hank, but he goes by Henry.
No, he's Henry, but my husband calls him Hank.
Why? I'm calling him Harold.
And
Wait.
his middle names are Joel and Carter.
Why do you have two?
Lucas picked one and Molly picked one. And then with Molly, she's got 2 because we let Lucas pick one and we picked one.
No, what is it?
Molly Elizabeth Seaman.
So what is the 2 middle names for Lucas?
He's got 2 last names.
Gosberg Whittle?
No, Whitall Johnson. Because his dad's last name is Johnson.
So it's something Lucas Whittle Johnson? What's his first name?
You can ask him.
I don't have his number. Bro, I did not know that. What does it start with? Just give us the first one. Carter. Cameron. It's Cameron. Cameron Lucas. It's Cameron Lucas. It's Cameron Lucas.
I practice for just yelling C names to see if it's right.
Your both your parents what?
Go by their middle names and all their siblings do, so I thought it would be a tradition to continue. So I named Lucas the way I named him, and he goes by Lucas. And it's kind of sweet. I knew I was going to call
So
him
you
Lucas
just
and
named
name him his middle name Lucas,
So you just
right?
named him horribly, so he's a
And
man.
then he's like about 2 months old, and my mom goes, "That was the worst thing you could have done." I'm like, "Why didn't you tell me that before I like filled out the paperwork?"
It's actually Cameron.
No, it's not.
Carter. Christina. What?
You guys should be finding the mean and the standard deviation.
You never taught
for
us.
these 2 problems.
Yes, she did.
What she said?
Boy.
What she said?
It's on the calculator.
What she said?
I don't know if you
What she said?
Exactly.
What she say?
This little,
I'm not a freak. What?
this little, I bet you $5 I walked to the bathroom and there's at least 5 kids in there.
Don't look at me.
but I don't want to take that back because I believe you'll be right.
How about, well, 10 kids?
I still think you'll be right.
I bet there's zero.
I don't hate you.
Zero people.
You're right.
Scratched it out. He said, use the hammer.
You're right.
And I started doing it from here.
Sure, I tell me something. We're supposed to make a.
Oh,
edit.
it's that easy.
Okay, what does that? So it's not Cameron. Are you gonna say yes if I get it?
I forgot.
I mean,
You're his mom. You can do whatever you do.
I know, but I don't know if he wants kids to know that his.
Oh, I'm not a kid. I'm his friend.
That's why you can't just text him and
I
ask.
don't have one.
Oh, so you're real good friends with him, huh?
We don't need to
Yeah.
talk. We talk every day.
I really brought a retainer.
I'll have to find for the following numbers. What's the duck?
And then enter in these numbers.
In the first one?
Yeah, the 4, 9, 10.
4 enter.
I'm literally big brain. Don't tell me about it. Or my phone. Well, actually,
Varse, stat,
except for this called Texas Roadhouse or my phone on my birthday.
Varse, 2.
Why?
Varse,
On his
1.
birthday, they made you like this like saddle thing, and then like spin a towel, and they're like, hey, Texas
They
Roadhouse.
force
No,
you?
it's the S of X.
Like I didn't know what was
Why don't you-
happening. I was
This
like,
one I got a
this is
weird
cool.
one.
I was like, okay, I've never been there. This is really be
I like how she wrote it down.
That'd be really neat. Yeah, like add some friends.
But I guess I still don't understand how they forced you from the table to on the.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, no, thank you.
Nice presents like you.
But you just said they hurt your pride.
Yeah. Okay, this is the thing. The waiter was kind of like, he did not hold back.
I don't think that's very like, situation to say no. So you have all these waiters yelling in your face like, it's your birthday,
And I've never been massaged, so I was like, is that gonna hurt? You know, like, is that gonna hurt? And he's like, oh, it would hurt your pride. I was like, oh, are you for real? So I still sat there and it's like, yeah, Texas Roadhousians or whatever they call the people there. And I was like, so I stopped spinning the towels and he started over. And I kept spinning back there. I did not want to step through the line.
You give in to peer pressure a lot, don't you?
Sometimes I just want to be like, no offense.
That was 9.
It's like, oh, you're at it, that. So why not just say no to the waiter? This guy you never met, just say,
There was one kid.
What is it called?
Miss Whittle, you would have won the bet. Hey, that's mine.
What's the one where, hold on, I'm not, my brain isn't braining.
I looked up and I thought you stuck it. I saw that.
If I got stuck today, I'll get
Ow!
can you describe it?
It's like,
Davis Carr, sit down.
want to
Amber Whittle, sit down.
appeal to someone.
whoa.
Is that crazy?
I'm gonna get approval.
Did you do it? No, don't let him see.
Hey, do it on your own, dude. You do it on your own.
I
I
did.
don't even know
Dude,
what's
move
going
on. What's that?
Impressed?
Oh yeah, of course it's 10. That's 1, 6, 7, 2, 5, 6.
English is not my first language, but I'm whitewashed, so
Win.
nothing I can do there.
I saw that.
You said that.
Hey! What are you implying?
Who said that?
Bella.
Bella.
Happy birthday, KB. Did you hear about the... Did you hear about the bill player?
Did he not have that?
Who?
There's a word, there's a
No, he didn't.
Is he in like critical
No, he's dead.
Oh, he is dead. He died last night.
That's so sad. Why are you guys smiling?
It's just funny.
How's that funny?
We're all food.
I know, for real, I'm trying to think.
Will you go put that on the board?
No, he's actually
Yeah,
doing
he
well.
did not know how to get that.
It's okay.
Just saying.
I just had to put it on the board.
Yeah. All right, Davis is going to give you the mean standard deviation.
What color should I
Can you
use?
imagine you're the guy who hit him?
Purple.
I mean, it's not his fault at all, but like, still.
Yeah, I know, that would suck.
Is he? Wait, did he actually die?
No.
He's actually doing a lot better. Like, he's like breathing on his own, but like, he has to.
Team, why do you guys do this to me?
What?
That's a 0.
Make you live like on the edge.
I like how you clarified that it's 4.06 when the 10 does not look like a 10. Looks like a W.
It looks like a 10.
I thought this
Whoa,
was
whoa,
code.
whoa, whoa,
I see
whoa,
both,
whoa.
honestly.
Both of them?
I was like, what the heck is
Both.
code?
Oh my gosh.
I don't think you should be talking about handwriting disorder.
Whoa.
Excuse me. I got good handwriting.
Fight, fight.
Little,
This is a 10,
go first, bro.
by the way.
So thirsty.
That's such a good 10.
Thank you.
Okay, but it took you like 10
Can you
seconds to
write
write it.
left and 6 feet next to each other really quickly?
No.
Oh.
4.06. Now, how many of you know how to calculate your grade in a class?
Calculate a grade in class?
Yeah.
You take
Oh, you should-
This is a little more broken down than we do. But in like this class, we have summatives
Boo. And informatives.
and formatives.
It's like 18, 20. No, 70.
Yes, 80-20, you're right.
Some teachers are doing 70 and 30.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want.
That's crazy talk.
So summatives in this class are 80, formatives are 20. Let's say you have an 80 for the summative grade, and I don't know, let's go with a 90 for the formative grade. What would your grade in the class be?
A?
92.
Are you sure?
92.
Yeah.
82.
89.
82.
How do we figure it out?
88.
The answer that you're thinking of is my answer.
88.
You guys don't know how to find your grade?
No, I don't know how to find my grade. That's not my job. I don't get paid to do it.
We should go on Canvas and tell us.
Okay, but what if, never
All it says
mind,
is you're
Canvas
59
does what if grades
It
too.
depends on the
I'm really sad and disappointed
Well,
you guys don't know.
should you just show us anyways?
Well, Canvas
Well, I'm
doesn't
going
work.
to.
Oh.
I just was surprised none of you knew.
Type it.
Well, that just tells something about
You take,
Yeah, it does. Right now, I'm literally only doing school so I can save money in college, so there's no point in me being here other than that.
Whoa.
No, I'm being serious.
I know the answer.
This world's not even saying
As soon
anything
as
about
you do the math, I'll know the answer.
You take your grade multiplied by the weight, and then you add it to the other grade multiplied by its weight. I don't know what these are off the top of my head.
You are?
80 times 0.8, 64, and 18.
Yeah, I don't know if school and stuff.
So
My
you
gosh,
guys-
you're actually perfect
Would have an 82 in class.
82.
You guys were like, oh,
I
we
was
have
right.
an A, 89.
I
No.
said 88.
You're almost like
Well, I said
Alice
82
C.
first, but then
Hey,
I was like, no.
so
Like,
you could use that idea, Maggie.
Yeah.
You could use that idea to find the mean over here. Doesn't help you with standard deviation. I have to say quite a few of you put these into lists, which I thought was awesome. But then you use the wrong calculator feature. So if we put those into lists, figure that out, figure that out, figure that out. 97, 88, and 80. 0.1, 0.3, 0.6.
Oh, I just didn't read it. I didn't read a single page on how to see that.
Quiet down. All right, so here is our two lists. Now, a lot of you hit stat, calc, and you went to 2-bar stats. We want to find the mean. I did not say find the mean of the grade and find the mean of the weight. I asked for a mean because we're still looking at one variable, the grade in the class. So you should have chosen 1-bar stats.
That only gets
List 1 is your list. Frequency is your probability list. So you would have had list 1 and list 2, and then go to calculate. And you would have found that the average is 84.1.
There's no standard deviation.
Not in the sense that we're used to, but we're gonna change that in a minute. Wait, what? May I flip?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Who wants to read for me? Davis, thank you.
I knew it.
Kidding me?
I knew it.
1952,
Why is
Dr.
that funny?
Virginia Apgar suggested 5 criteria for measuring a baby's health at birth: skin color, heart rate, muscle tone, breathing, and response when stimulated. She developed a 0-1-2 scale to rate a newborn on each of the 5 criteria. A baby's Apgar score is the sum of the rating on each of the 5 scales, which gives a whole number value from 0 to 10. Apgar scores are still used today to evaluate the health of newborns. What Apgar scores are typical? To find out, researchers recorded the Apgar scores of over 2 million newborn babies in a single year. Imagine selecting one of these newborns at random. To find the random...
What is so funny?
Go.
To find the random variable x.
Define the random variable x to be the Apgar score of a randomly selected baby 1 minute after birth. The table below gives the probability distribution for x. Yes, this is an actual thing they do still. All my babies had Apgar scores.
What were they?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Were they good?
You don't remember
Yes.
your baby's Apgar scores?
No. I want to say my daughter was either a 7 or an 8.
That's probably good.
Yeah.
I was a fat baby.
We'll talk about what's healthy in a minute. I don't remember my youngest Apgar score because he didn't pass hearing, so I was more concerned about that. All right. Shh. So we have the Apgar scores 0 through 10. The probabilities are listed below. First thing we're going to do is show that the probability distribution for x is legitimate. If you go back over here, right here, the 2 things we need to show it's legitimate. All the probabilities are between 0 and 1, and the sum of all the probabilities equals 1. Are all the probabilities between 0 and 1? Yes. All probabilities between 0 and 1. Check.
Yes, it is. In college.
What are you going to do?
Then we need to make sure they add to 1. You guys can just follow along with me if you want on this one. 0.001, 0.006, 0.007, 0.008, 0.012, 0.02, 0.038, 0.099, 0.319, 0.437, 0.053. It equals 1.
I'm going to push it.
Sum, remember that's sum, I can speak. Symbol means sum. So the sum of all the probabilities equals 1. Check. So this is legitimate. Now, another great reminder of something I've taught you to do that we need to know how to do again
Where's the pilot?
is make a histogram.
And then I also want to do.
Time.
She's asking me to do.
Not now. All right. We're going to make a histogram of our probability distribution. We're going to do it on the calculator, and then we're going to sketch it. Do we remember how to make a histogram?
Nope.
No, we do not.
I don't remember anything.
What's the first thing you should do?
Math.
Put it in the list, because otherwise I can't do anything.
That's valid.
That is valid. So, put the APGAR scores in list 1, probabilities in list 2, please. Really, Ty?
Oh, wait.
You're a really bad liar.
Stop. Are you okay?
Yeah, it's just.
Are you serious?
Once we have the data in there, what do we press to make a histogram? Second, y equals brings you to your stat plot. Choose one of them. I'm going to use plot 1. Make sure it's on. And then which type? Which icon is a histogram?
The bar one.
The bar one. The third one is the histogram. Now, this is different. Our X list is list 1. Our frequency is list 2. Then what do I press? Graph.
Graph.
And I didn't get anything.
Zoom 9.
I am going to clear out my y equals,
Oh,
but
why does mine look-
I still got nothing.
Zoom
What do we hit?
9.
Mine looks like this.
Zoom 9. And it's going to give you a
Oh, okay, cool.
funky histogram. Now,
Mine's actually a dog.
this is one of the times
This is one of the times.
We have to change it.
that Zoom 9 isn't good.
Actually, works perfectly for me. So.
That's fortunate for you. So, Zoom 9 did not give us a good histogram, so we have to change the window ourselves. So we're going to hit window.
Is that right?
No,
So can you help me?
follow along. Hit window.
I don't have window.
Yeah, you do. Everybody has window.
Window.
All right. X min. So our X goes from 0 to 10. Just so the calculator doesn't cut the bars of the histograms off, we're going to go -1 to 11. So one below our lowest X and one above.
And 11?
That way the edges of the calculator don't cut our bars off.
I don't have the same numbers as you.
And then you want to change the X scale to 1.
Mine's 2.5.
Change it, Ty.
That's why you should just
Fix it.
do one.
Fix it.
So that it's counting by ones on the x-axis.
Yep.
All right, y min, y is our probability. So we can make the y minimum 0. And then our biggest probability is this 0.437 here.
2.5.
So let's go to 0.5 for the x max.
Thanks, Dave. What's my scale?
The y scale I'm going to change to 0.1. That one really doesn't matter. That's just going to go 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. Do not mess with the X resolution, the delta X, or the trace step. Everybody good with those 6? Once you have those in there, hit graph, and you should have a histogram that looks more like that. I don't know why mine are shaded though, but they are.
Wait, what do I do?
Mine's got a line with it.
Hey, graph.
Oh!
Dude, what the heck? Thank you. You forgot to use the frequency list too.
Is that right?
There you go, and that passes
This
for
little,
you.
mine is literally broken.
So is it mine supposed to have a line through it? Or
That's because you have an equation in your y equals.
How was it going?
All right. Now we're gonna make a sketch. I told you to follow along.
I
And you
did. I seriously did. Maggie, did I follow
Did you
along?
change your window?
Yes.
Really? To what? Let me see. That does not match what
Bro,
I
I
told you.
literally changed it. You watched me
dude.
change it, Maggie.
All right.
You literally watched me change it.
Now we're gonna sketch this on the paper. It's going to be a sketch. I didn't give you much room, so we're gonna do our best, but it's not gonna be perfect. So there's our y-axis. That wasn't very straight, but whatever.
Yeah, I think that is literally.
Dude, mine is literally broken. I told you. This little look. It's actually so broken. It's not even.
That's because when you hit stop fight, you didn't listen and change the frequency to list 2.
Ooh. Casper did that.
Casper?
Do you know who that is?
No.
Me either.
I'm actually surprised you do because Casper's an old movie. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know. Just you guys don't seem to know things.
I know a lot.
Not statistics.
Oh my gosh, Bird.
I don't need to know that. They're called calculators.
Alright, so it's a little hard to see because I didn't do a great job, sorry. But the x-axis I have all the way through 11. And then I do apologize for the little hill in my x-axis. I don't know what happened. Now, when we made the histogram in the calculator, we told it to use the probability as the frequency. So when I'm looking at my histogram, remember if you hit trace, it'll tell you the height of the bar by giving you n. Well, this bar doesn't exist because it's -1 to 0. But then if I go from 0 to 1, 0 to just less than 1, the height of my bar is 0.001, which is the probability. Then if I go over, the next bar has a height of 0.006, the next probability. And if I keep hitting to the right, you'll see that all the n's, the height of the bars, are the probabilities. Whoa. So when I make this sketch, I'm going to use the table. From 0 up to 1 is 0.001, which literally is not even off the x-axis.
It literally
Then from 1 to 2 is 0.006. So again, on the x-axis. And the same for 0.007 and 0.008. They just stay on the x-axis. 0.012 is also pretty much just on the x-axis. and so is 0.02. 0.038 might get a little higher. 0.099, that gets a little higher. And then we actually get to something we can graph, 0.319. So 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. So I'm going to be a little above that hash mark. Oh, I might have gone a little too high. And then we have 0.437, which is above that one. And then we drop back down to something that's, oh, that's too high. Barely off the x-axis. This last bar, sorry, I made it too big. Should be shorter. 0.053 should not be that high. What? I don't know. It's okay-ish. Alright, then the other part of B is to describe what you see. Socks. Do we remember socks?
Yeah.
What does it stand for?
Shape.
Shape.
Outliers.
Outliers.
Center.
Center.
Spread.
Spread. Thanks, Maggie.
Dude, I actually did. She just told me spread. I forgot the last one.
Alright, what is the shape of our histogram? Skewed left. And we're gonna put a safety word, roughly skewed left.
Are you recording today?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
What up?
What about outliers?
B5 back at it.
Do we have outliers?
What about the ones to the left?
The ones to the left. If I have skewness to the left, I most likely have outliers on the left or the low side. So I'm going to say possible, because I don't know for sure. And they would be on the low side, so possible low outliers. And what was your question, Megan? I'm sorry.
Well, I was just thinking the one on the right side of the tall bars. Because it doesn't follow the trend.
It doesn't, but we would not say that's possibly one, because remember, distributions get pulled by outliers, so the skewness is going to be pulled by any possible outliers. Where, yeah, it drops way down, but it's not pulling the data to the right, so we're not going to say that it might be one. Does that make sense? All right, center. Where's the center of my distribution?
No, like literally. What'd you say?
Where's the center?
Six.
Duh. Not 6. I just said duh.
It's gonna be in 9 somewhere.
It's going to be in the 9 somewhere. Why 9, Davis?
Because it has. I know, but I don't know. It has like. If you add up all the data, less than 9.
If I add up all the data, it should be what?
1.
1, right? We
Yes.
did that in part A.
Yes.
What's the middle of 1?
Oh my god. 5.
0.5. So if we take 0.053 and 0.437, we're really close to 0.5, but we're not quite there.
Yeah.
We're at 0.49. So we need to drop down into the 8
Oh gosh, dang it.
so that we're at that 50% or the 0.5 of the data. And then spread, I'm just going to say this one because this one's weird. So spread, we usually talk about the spread of the data, but this, we're more interested in the probabilities, so we're going to talk about the range of the probabilities. So the probabilities range from 0.001 up to 0.437.
Let's see.
What do you think?
Then part C, doctors decided that the APGAR score of 7 or higher indicates a healthy baby. So what's the probability that a randomly selected baby is healthy? So really, we want to find the probability that X is greater than or equal to 7. Greater than or equal to 7 is those 4 numbers at the end. So I'm going to add those 4 probabilities together to get the probability that a randomly selected baby is healthy. Oops, I forgot my plus sign.
I can't believe you.
I'm sorry. 0.319 plus 0.09.
Carson.
0.908.
That's Carson.
No.
Carter. Cameron. Carson.
All right.
Carter. Caleb.
Cole.
Charles.
Colton.
What?
His name's Colton, isn't it?
Questions before I move on to the mean. So we're still going to work with the APGAR scores. But, you know, math, they decided they're no longer going to call the mean the mean.
What's it called this time?
Again.
It's called the expected value.
Doesn't even make sense.
Well, we're going to find the expected APGAR score of a randomly selected baby. So it does make sense. It's the value we would expect. So here's a probability distribution. It's just a general one. We have x values, x sub 1, all the way through x sub k. They have their corresponding probabilities, p sub 1 through p sub k. To find the mean, you multiply each value by its probability and add them together, just like we did back here to find the grade in the class. So the mean of x is equal to the expected value of x. That's a new notation. E of x is another way for them to ask you to find the mean. And you would take x sub 1 times p sub 1 plus x sub 2 times p sub 2 all the way through x sub k times p sub k. Or, in simpler notation, we would do the sum of all the x values times their probabilities. So expected value, that notation is E of x. And it can be used interchangeably with mu sub x.
I hate that little.
Mu?
Yeah,
It makes me uncomfortable.
I'm sorry. So, we're going to find the expected APGAR score of a randomly selected baby. And then, you know, because it's statistics, we're going to interpret it. Because otherwise it doesn't make sense. P sub k. Well, it's a subscript, not just next to it. So, to find the expected value of the APGAR score, I'm going to take the value times its probability plus the next value times its probability plus the value times its probability, and the next one times its probability, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Oh man. Oh man. I was hoping I'd make it all fit, but I have to drop down. And then I get to put that all in the calculator. Everybody okay if I put my calculator in the way?
No. I'm pissed.
Don't be good.
We'll do that then. 0 times 0.001 plus 1 times 0.006 plus 2 times 0.007 plus 3 times 0.008 plus 4 times 0.012 plus 5 times 0.02 plus 6 times 0.038 plus 7 times 0.099 plus 8 times 0.319 plus 9 times 0.437 plus 10 times 0.053. And I get 8.18128. Excuse me, I said those backwards. Really? Nobody's going to call me out on this?
Nope.
Gosh.
What'd you do wrong?
Say that again, Colton.
What'd you do wrong?
I already showed you how to do this in the calculator. The simple way.
You said, what did you do wrong?
What? I wrote it all out. Why would I write it all out when I already showed you how to do it in the calculator?
So you have to write it out?
Back here,
Joe, I'm asking
we
you a
took
question.
numbers with weights, probabilities, frequencies, and we used the calculator to find the average. Expected value is another word for average. We already have all this data in our calculator. So what are the buttons we press? Stat.
Bars. Edit.
Over to calc. 1 bar stat. List 1, your frequency is list 2 unless you put them in different lists. And then hit calculate. Average is 8.128. Don't do all that work. Lists can get really big. Stat, calc, 1 bar stats. List is list 1 or whatever list you put it in. And then your frequency list is list 2 or wherever you put your probabilities. So that's with that list 1, that list 2. So the new part though is interpreting it. Now, I may not do the best at this part. Like I've said before, I'm sure you guys can come up with a better way, especially since I'm throwing pens. Something, I use the word typical because it says what APGAR scores are typical. So I said an APGAR score of 8.128 is typical, meaning a randomly selected baby is healthy. And I can say the baby is healthy because up above it told us that doctors said a score of 7 or higher indicates a healthy baby. Now, back when I had you guys use the calculator to find the mean here, Colton said there's no standard deviation. And I said yes, in the sense that we're used to standard deviation so far, but now we're going to change that. So we're going to look at the next page and find the standard deviation for an APGAR score. So same idea, right here is a general probability distribution. We have x values, x sub 1 all the way through x sub k. Their corresponding probabilities, p sub 1 through p sub k. Now, if we define mu to be the mean of x, that way I don't have to use e of x in my formula, so I don't have all these extra letters. We're going to say mu is the mean. Then the variance of x. What is the relation?
Whoa! See you
I
later.
thought I had 7 more minutes.
So you did too.
It's a Wednesday.
Wait, is that actually 20?
Your standard deviation's that one.
Does this mean we don't have
Sigma x. No, you have homework.
What's the homework?
It's on the bottom of your notes. Right there.
Oh, we didn't get our note sheet, sign-off sheet, so
I know I didn't make copies.
Oh, so we don't have homework.
You should not make
You
it so
do.
hard until you can get it.
Yeah, that's not fair.
All you need to
I don't
know
know.
is that standard
No, I don't know, I don't know,
deviation
I don't know.
is no longer S, it's sigma. It's right there.
The like
This
ring,
one.
I'm not
the O looking thing?
The O looking
So no
thing.
homework?
Peace out.
You have homework. Good try.
My sign off sheet.
It'll be here tomorrow when I have to sign off.
But then that's not the time.